What is up, everybody? I'm here with Justin, FLT, All Things Truth. And what's going on, dude?
What's up? What's going on? Saturday. Bills are playing tonight.
Right, dude, yeah. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know. I want the Bills to win, obviously. I think it's going to be a close game either way, but I do
You're a
worry
Raiders fan, so you can speak on this without...
I'm a little bit, the Bills are my favorite team, but I'm by far, the Raiders are my team. Bills are my second, so I can be a little bit less biased, but they have to shut down the run game, and they have to jump out to a lead. So before the Indy game, I was talking to people, and I said, look, if McDermott wins the coin toss, he has to take the ball first. I like to defer, but you can't let a running team get a lead because then they can just keep running all game. And so McDermott wins the toss and he defers. And then the Indy didn't score a touchdown the first drive, but they got a field goal, but they were able to keep the game close all game. And that's why they were able to just lean on Taylor. So I hope that McDermott learns from that. If he wins the toss, we need to take the ball, punch it in with Allen. And then if we get one stop and then go up by 10 or 14, they can't do what they want to do. They would have to abandon the run somewhat. And that's where the advantage would be huge in the Bills' favor.
And that's another thing, though. What if he does? I agree with that. I would take the ball first, too. But if he does decide to give the ball to them, for whatever reason, if he feels confident that his defense can start off strong, stop the run early, get a lead like that, and then get the ball at halftime, now it's good.
So
that's a risk, though, because you're saying that I got confidence that my defense, fresh out the gate, can stop Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But if if he comes out strong and scores in the first drive, now you're in trouble for the rest of the game.
It puts you behind, and then they can just keep running, and then they're playing their game as opposed to you playing yours. Right. And that's my worry, is that I normally like to defer, but if you think about it, the Bills' one defense, their one weakness is their rush defense, and that's the strength of Baltimore. And then you look at, on the flip side, what's the Bills' strength? Their offense. So that's why I'd rather take the ball, put your offense on the field. Everything's it's gonna come down to Allen, pretty much. And so why not put the ball in his hands and put out your stronger. It's weird because the Bills were a defensive team for a long time, but it switched. It's the offensive team now, and they're Allen's balling. So I'd just rather put it in his hands, get him some confidence.
It's so crazy because last year at this exact same time of the year, Bills lost, and we were saying, wow, our defense is so good. If just our offense could get a little bit better. Allen's not that, Allen's almost there. Our receivers are terrible besides John Brown. That's what they were saying last year.
Yep.
So sure enough, they went out, they got Beasley, and they got Diggs. Yep. And now all of a sudden their offense is clicking.
Yep.
And then in the beginning of the season, early on in September and October, our defense was struggling a little bit, even though they went out and added Josh Norman, and they filled in. It looked like they were like super stacked this year.
Yeah.
But they started to struggle in the beginning. Then they started getting some injuries in a little bit, and then at the end, like December, dude, our defense started to click like it was last year.
Yeah.
So now we're in the playoffs hot, and I love it, dude. I really do think that this Bills team has a chance to actually to win the whole entire to win the Super Bowl. I really do.
It's crazy to say, but I'm actually more worried about Baltimore than Kansas City.
I see that.
Because the Bills
team, dude.
Yeah, they're dangerous, and their strength is the Bills' defensive weakness. Whereas the Bills' strength on defense is their Tre'Davious White and their passing their passing defense, and that's what Kansas City does, is throw the ball.
Right.
So they don't really have much of a running game, so it kind of mitigates the Bills' defensive weakness. So I think if they can get past Baltimore, I really do think they can beat Kansas City. And I do think the AFC is stronger than the NFC this year. So if they can get to the Super Bowl and represent the AFC, I truly could see a Super Bowl for Buffalo.
Yeah, I think the AFC is going to take it this year, whoever gets there.
Yeah, I agree.
He makes it there. I think the AFC is way stronger this year, for sure. The Packers is going to be tough, though. Packers Aaron Rodgers wants that ring. He wants another ring, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? He's in the same boat as Peyton Manning was towards the end of his career, where people started calling him a playoff choke artist when –
True.
I need those multiple rings, not just one, not just two. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be like Brady.
Yeah, and it's
Do it.
true because Green Bay is like on cruise control every regular season, but then they seem to somehow slip in the playoffs and get knocked out. So I can definitely see the parallels between Manning, but with Green Bay stacked, don't get me wrong, but their defense is not very good, and that's what makes me think that it's going to hold them back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really could see it going out of the AFC, and I don't want to see Kansas City win it again.
Score on every drive, though.
Yeah, and that's what he would need to do.
Or score, but they get scored on too. But
Absolutely.
Score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That can take you all the way to the Super Bowl if you just score. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, Rodgers is probably going to be MVP. So if he keeps playing at a flawless level, then yeah, they're probably going to beat everybody.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, like I was saying, that defense, the way our defense was last year, that was a Super Bowl defense. We just didn't have the offense. Now we have the offense.
Absolutely.
So there's no doubt in my mind that this team has the potential to win the Super Bowl. I really do.
Yeah.
Diggs is playing out of his mind. You just got John Brown back. You know what? I'll be completely honest. What's their injury report looking like tonight? Who's not playing? Anybody?
They look very, very healthy. I mean, the Bills have stayed healthy all year.
Full strength, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple questionable guys, but I think they're all going to end up playing. I don't think anybody's seriously, at harm of missing tonight's game. So yeah, that's huge. They've been healthy all year, and the couple injuries they've had, they've been able to overcome.
That's why I'm just curious to look at the Bills, the depth chart right now.
Yeah, pull it up.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I thought Josh Norman was a genius ad because he was he used to be a number one corner in his zone defense a couple of years back, and then he started struggling. But I thought he was perfect to be an addition for what we had already. I was like, dude, that was the perfect pick. Perfect pick for our defense because we already have Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have to be the guy, Josh Norman. He could come in and be the number two because the Bills already have White, who's one of the top corners in the league, if not the best corner. I mean, it's pretty close. Probably Ramsey, but I mean, White's right there.
Here, I'm going to share my screen because I'm looking at this depth chart and it is.
Yeah, pull it up.
Awesome, dude. Real quick.
Does it show the injury report too, or no? Does it put like a questionable tag next to him?
Yes, it does. Share. Here we go. Share screen.
Awesome.
There we go. So you can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Buffalo Bills. John Brown is listed as the left. Diggs on the right. Gabriel Davis behind him. Beasley in the slot. I love that receiving core.
Yeah.
It is
Beasley's so underrated, dude. I mean, I guess actually this year he got props. He was an all-pro. I don't know how that happened, but he got second team all-pro.
Yeah. That's
incredible. But for years he'd been underrated.
NFL is recognizing slot receiver as its own position now because it is. Yeah. It really is.
They should truly. I mean, he just made it as a second all-team wide receiver, but they should make a category for a slot receiver because that's a starting position now.
Yeah.
100%. Look at that team, though. I mean, if the defense can play, good like they have in the second half of the year and like they did last year, I mean, the offense is stacked now.
Yeah,
so, I mean, you look at this team.
All I'm seeing is you got Zach Moss, Cody Ford. I'm only talking about like starters mostly. You know what I'm saying? People who play.
Yeah. We knew Moss was out for the year, but that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I know.
We're full strength. We got Jordan Poyer. He was getting hurt. Didn't know if he was going to be back he was going to be out for a while or not. Dude, everybody's there.
Health is huge.
Josh Norman's listed as like a backup to Levi Wallace because Levi Wallace is playing out of his mind lately, which I like that. That's good. And Norman's going to be there to play for depth. You got Taron Johnson at nickel. Saran Neal for depth, dude. He can even start. He's good enough to start. You see how they got him listed as corner and nickel in the backup side?
Yeah, he's very versatile. He can do both.
Yeah, and then you got Porter, and then you got Poyer and Hyde at safety.
Hyde is right there. Been incredible.
Hyde is incredible.
Yeah, he really is. Dude. And even Poyer, they're a very underrated safety tandem.
Yeah, Jerry Hughes. Oh my! Don't even get me started. I can do a whole video about how we are blessed to have Jerry Hughes. We traded Kelvin Shepard for him.
I know.
one-on-one trade to the Colts.
Yeah.
In whatever. I don't know. That was literally 12 years ago.
Yeah.
He's been a monster. He has not moved out of that LDE position. He's been sitting there, just stuck like a rock. and he's been phenomenal. He's such a big deal. Like people don't talk about him like that he should be.
Yeah, and when he was on the Colts, he was a linebacker. He wasn't an
yeah,
end.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he was kind of
But they
an
had
ill
that three
fit.
four. They had that 3-4 back then. But remember they had what's his name that monster come on Dwight Freeney.
Yep.
So they took him. Jerry Hughes was going into that system to be the next Dwight Freeney, and they didn't like him. So they traded for Calvin Shepard.
Exactly. They went linebacker for linebacker, the trade straight up, and then the Bills immediately took him and put him at end, and he's just blossomed ever since there.
Ed Oliver, he's turned out to be the stud that we want him to be. Vernon Butler's playing well. You got Trent Murphy behind him, and he comes in. He rotates in and gets a lot of playing time. So it's the same with Harrison Phillips, Mario Addison. Our line is stacked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love our defense. And our linebackers, people say our linebackers aren't as strong as they want them to be. But look at this. Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, and A.J. Klein. You can't ask for – you really can't. Like, that's as good as it gets. You know what I'm saying?
They can set the tone and shut down the run, they could be unstoppable.
Right.
That's like truly the one Achilles heel. So if they can get that, fixed, like the Colts, that's the only reason the game was even close is because they were able to run the ball so successfully.
Yeah.
So they just got to shut down the run, and they got to defend the tight end better.
Yeah.
The Bills are second worst in the league against the tight end. But other than that, I mean, no team's perfect.
Yeah.
So, at this point, you're nitpicking.
Look at the offense right now, and so we know our passing game is clicking, and our passing game is as good as it gets. Also, but I want to mention this. If one thing we can improve to really get over the edge is if Singletary starts playing out of his mind. And Dawson Knox stops dropping passes. So when Dawson Knox gets the ball, he's a fullback. He turns into L-Stott, but he drops the ball too much.
Yeah,
so if those two things can happen, oh man, we're unstoppable.
He makes too many mistakes, Knox, but like you said, with the ball in his hands, he's like, you know what he reminds me of? I mean, he's nowhere near as good as this, but when he catches the ball and he has the ball in his hands and he's running with it, he reminds me of George Kittle. Just like plowing over guys, just like not going down, fighting for extra yards.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison.
He drops too many passes. He does the costly fumbles. Just like if he can clean that up, he's still a young player. He could, Bills could have
now until the end of this year, depending on how far we get, to prove that he can be a number one tight end.
Exactly.
He keeps dropping passes like that. I'm sorry, he's gonna have.
Yeah.
I'm really pulling for him because I like him. He's a young guy.
Yep.
I think he's 23 years old. 24 maybe. He's super young.
He's like auditioning right now because if the year ends and he's still making mistakes, the Bills are going to have to go get a tight end. They're going to have to go get a tight end. Draft, free agency.
Because we're so stacked. Where else do we look? We need a tight end. We might need a running back. I don't know.
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, Moss is going to be back, so I mean, I think that they're pretty set at running back unless just like some amazing running back falls in their lap. But yeah, you can really look if you're going to nitpick the roster.
Singletary and Moss, they're not bad. They're good. I like them, but we both know that running backs you can always upgrade running back easily.
Yeah, if they have a shot, but it's not like oh my gosh, we have this giant hole here. We have to get this this position. So if the chance comes along and you can get like a workhorse stud running back, of course.
Yeah.
But if the draft doesn't fall their way, if the free agent doesn't fall their way, they don't have to get a running back. You got Singletary and Moss are like thunder and lightning. So I'm pumped for the game. I mean, I'm going to watch the Rams Packers game first, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to, Saturday night, prime time, bright lights, game in Buffalo. It's just so big, not only for like the Bills and the Bills fans, but for the city. It's huge. Yeah, like everything going on in the world.
I really wish we finally had a year where we can tailgate at the Bills game in the playoffs. But of course, the Bills get there, and it's COVID.
I know. The Bills finally get really good and get home field advantage. And not only it's the first year where the 2 seed doesn't get a bye, and then there's no fans allowed, no tailgating allowed. There's limited fans now, but so it's like, what the heck? So, but I think the Bills are going to be good for years to come. But even still, weird year, COVID, people are hurting, people are depressed. Like, it's so big for the city. If the Bills can get another win and, AFC championship. And then if somehow the Browns did beat Kansas City, which I don't see, but you never know. We didn't think that Kansas City was, we didn't think that Pittsburgh was going to get stomped either. by
No.
Cleveland, so you never know. But if they did somehow beat Kansas City, the AFC Championship would be in Buffalo.
Dude, if Baker Mayfield has a game, just plays out of his mind. Sorry, my mic was acting weird. If Baker Mayfield plays out of his mind, who knows what could happen?
Well, they got a running game, Cleveland. So I mean, they can keep Mahomes off the field. They can keep the clock ticking. So
they got everything else in place. It's literally Baker Mayfield just has to play good.
Yeah,
when he plays good, they're unstoppable.
Yeah, and Cleveland's got a really good defense, and they can rush the passer, and that's what you got to do. You got to get pressure on Mahomes with your front four. You can't blitz him, or he torches you.
Right.
So I'm excited. What's going on?
Anyways, I was just my cord was like I knocked it over. It was like
all right.
I just tightened it. Anyways, what else? What I want to talk about a little bit was how the media is acting lately. So let's you could start with this one though. You know what we're talking about.
Pop up the image with Trump's part of his speech on the one side, and then you have the Democratic governor on the other side, and it's just everybody keeps saying Trump incited a riot, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if there was any part of that speech that was even remotely, like where it could incite a riot, the media would be playing it non-stop. I see it, yeah. So if he really did say anything to incite a riot, the media would be playing that clip in that part of the speech over and over on a reel non-stop. So here we got Trump on the left. Media says he's inciting a riot. He says, I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Wow.
That does not sound like inciting a riot to me. Now we got
Cynthia Johnson saying, warning to you Trumpers, be careful, walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it. Do it right. Be in order. Make them pay.
Yeah. For those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it. Make them pay. That
what about this one? Hold on, let me go to the next one real quick.
Yeah, and then we got over the summer. Pull up that image. We got over the summer. We got Nancy Pelosi. We got Kamala Harris. We got 4 of these Democratic
saw my little banner that I was making.
So yeah, here we go. You got Nancy Pelosi. I just don't know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be. Kamala, protesters should not let up. And there needs to be unrest in the streets. And then pretty much threatening the cabinet. If you see anybody from the cabinet in a restaurant, an department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and create a crowd. You push back on them and you tell them they're not welcome here anymore, anywhere. Like this looks like inciting a riot. This looks like encouraging rioting and looting and stealing and burning. But this was all the summer of love. That's what they called, the summer of love to Chaz and Chop. And this is necessary for change. There was a Vox, which is, whatever you want to call media, whatever, they're media, but they had an article over the summer, and I sent you that image too, but you might not have pulled it up. They said riots are destructive, dangerous, and scary, but can lead to serious social reforms. So that's what they said over the summer with all the BLM and Antifa.
Vox is out of their minds, dude.
With all the BLM and Antifa riots, that's what they said. But can lead to
serious
social reforms.
You ever heard of the Vox apocalypse?
No.
So Vox like went after YouTube for not censoring people enough, and they actually pulled strings, and all of a sudden within overnight, all these conservatives on YouTube started getting their channels were getting flagged. People were getting kicked off YouTube. They were getting strikes. Like they were getting temporary
bans and suspensions.
They call it the Vox apocalypse. Look it up, dude. Vox with only strings, dude. It's crazy how media can do that.
So they say that over the summer, the riots are destructive, dangerous, scary, but can lead to serious social reforms. Then we got just recently, every person who forced their way into the Capitol should be arrested. Lock them all up. Like, come on. I mean, the bias in the media is just unbelievable. And you just see it over and over and over again.
Look at Nancy Pelosi, though. I just don't know why there aren't
possessed.
She's always possessed. Dude, that lady's a robot, dude. I'm telling you, they MK Ultra'd her for something, dude. Dude, it's like she has no soul.
It looks like it really does.
Listen to her speak, dude. She just is like a fucking robot, dude.
Yep.
Maxine Waters, all four of these are like that.
Yep.
Kamala Harris is just crazy. She's like she reminds me of like a Joker. Like I can see her with like paint on her face, being like laughing and be like,
well, with that evil laugh, she does remind me of the Joker. It's crazy.
Dude, it's nuts,
like
bro.
it really is. But you look at these, you look at them and you look in their eyes, and it's like you don't see the soul. They like literally look evil. And then some of the stuff they say that like people don't go after them for, I'm just like, I just don't understand. The only thing I can think of is you're not going after them and you're not attacking them because you're a Democrat and you're like, oh, it's all right. They're a Democrat. They're all right. Like you just let it slide because of party, which is ridiculous, but you see that constantly.
Right.
So it's just like, it literally like, it baffles me, but then I always like, it baffles me at first. And then I remember, well, the media's been like this all along. You know, this is how it always is, but that always creeps up on me and like surprises me for a second until I realize like it's been like this for a while now. So, I mean, we haven't had unbiased, media, news reporting since probably our parents were younger. That's when it was just like, tell the news and then that's it. Don't put your opinion in it. Don't insert your opinion. Don't insert your feelings. Tell the news and then let people decide for themselves what they want to think. You don't have that at all anymore on either side. It's not just the mainstream like media and the liberals, but even on the right, it's also biased reporting. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about is that the media used to be a little bit more conservative back in the day, like when we were kids, like in the 90s. I remember seeing, and then not just the news, but like all channels,
all media. Yeah,
I remember MTV used to play videos. Remember that? I'm dating myself now. Okay.
Yeah.
MTV used to actually be a music channel, by the way. So some of you young people watching, it did. There was a reason why it's called music television.
Exactly.
They used to play videos, and I remember black people back then used to protest and be like, "Why don't you play more black music?" They actually had a point, though. They were only playing. They would play like Michael Jackson and Prince, and that's it. Everything else was just pop music, and it was like. And then there was an interview one day. I wish I had it to pull it up to show people. You can look this up. An MTV CEO was in an interview, and he said this: we don't want to play all this black music because there's white families in the middle of the country that might get upset by it. Dude, can you imagine someone saying that now? And now,
wow.
And now MTV is the most liberal, like Marxist channel known. Like that's all they do is like push like all that left wing, crazy far left ideology, in all their shows now. Like you see,
it's a complete 180.
Yes, but it's funny because like it's like people are like, oh, the MTV's so great. They're so woke. It's like, don't you even know the history? Like they were some of the worst people back in the day. They were completely racist back in the day.
And,
you know what I mean?
Most of these companies,
I don't forget stuff like that.
Most of these companies, they're not even really woke. They're not even really, they're just pandering because that's what's cool now. That's what's popular. That's what people want.
Right.
So it's about money. So they shifted because, popular opinion and culture shifted.
That's what they do. Somebody
don't give a crap.
I was in a conversation. Somebody on Facebook said, "Oh, they were talking to somebody else. They were commenting back on somebody like, just stop with your little white privilege, racist, white supremacist BS." And then I said something like, "Literally, you'll vote for a tomato if they told you they were going to fight against that. They just have to say it. We're going to fight against white supremacy and we're going to push for equality. Oh, yeah, I'll vote for you. Yeah. They don't have to do it. They just have to say it. It's like a magic wand they wave in front of people. And it's like
crazy. And
the funny part is like you said, they only switch their views based on what most people are saying.
Yeah.
So they're not really, it's not like they really think that. They're just like, all right, everybody wants this. So we're going to say we're going to do that. People want universal health care. Let's say we're going to give them universal health care. Let's just do whatever they're going to do to get their vote. Yep. I'll give you a prime example. Obama and Biden in 2008, they got elected. That whole entire summer and fall leading up to the election in 2008, their stance, they were getting pummeled in the media because in the debates, Joe Biden and Barack Obama kept dodging questions about gay marriage. And finally, one day, Biden in the vice presidential debate, people forget about this, by the way, was like, mine and the president and and Obama's stance on gay marriage is simple. Marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yep, absolutely.
He gave the most conservative answer to gay marriage. That's it. That's conservative look on it.
Donald Trump is the first president to enter the White House supporting gay marriage.
And then they switched that later on in 2012
because everything started to shift.
Culture
started to shift.
It became unpopular to say that.
Yep.
So they're like, okay, we have to switch now.
Exactly.
They didn't really think that. It doesn't even matter what they think. They could have thought the whole time that they wanted to get, that they were supported. It doesn't even matter what they support. The fact is, their public stance only depends on popular opinion. It doesn't. But they don't actually go through with it. They're just fake.
Exactly. When it comes to corporations, money talks. So they're going to shift and they're going to do whatever's popular at the time to make money. When it comes to politicians, they're the same way, but they just want votes. So they're going to say whatever's popular at the time to garner votes. The thing that drives me nuts about the left and the Democrats is that they say all this stuff every election season, and then they do none of it once they get elected. Like Biden already went back on a promise about $2,000 checks. It's already now $1,400. He's not even fighting for $2,000. He's proposing $1,400. It's like, what? Like, it's just crazy. And he's not even president yet.
Right. You know, and it's crazy because like I was saying, they literally just are. They just pander. That's what they do. They just pander.
It's pandering.
Like the biggest example I think is Elizabeth Warren. How she got so big in the summer, like she almost won the primary. Like for a while, she was crushing it. Her numbers were going up and up and up and up, and then she just started bombing. She started getting exposed left and right, and she just pummeled. Then she had to leave the race. But do you remember that when she was rising, like Elizabeth Warren? And I kept saying to myself, "What is going on? How do people not read right past this lady?"
Yeah,
like she went to a gay parade and was like walking around on camera, like, get this shot of me hugging a gay person. Like, it's like, dude, how do you not see right through the bullshit? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you?
She had to go out of her way to be like, get this on camera. I mean, look what I'm doing. Look at I like gay people. Give me a hug.
I can't stand this new fake thing that's going on. People just being fake about everything, lying about where they grew up and stuff. I grew up in I had so rough my whole life, and now look at me. Like
it's the victim.
Everybody knows now. You. We all grew up with you. We know that it's not who you are. Just be real.
That's the way it is now, though. It's victim culture. Why can't
people just be real? I don't get it. Well, why? Yeah. What's this whole like? I gotta paint a picture that I'm this person, but you're not, and we know it. You're not fooling anybody but yourself.
Exactly. And like, so that's how I feel. So like, I may not agree with somebody that has a different opinion than me and like believes something differently, but as long as they're like convicted in their beliefs and they actually say what they believe and they're not fake and lie, I respect that. Might disagree with you, but I respect that you feel that way and you're willing to say that that's how you feel. I saw someone that we grew up with. I'm not going to mention names. Somebody you and I went to elementary school with. So, all right, I just narrowed it down a little. I went to Lindbergh. This person, and our whole lives, I've never thought of this person as a black person ever. She's like probably a quarter black. I don't know. Maybe a little. I don't know what she is. I know Italians that are darker than her. Put it that way. Yeah.
Our whole life, I never saw her different. Or to me, she was just like all of us. By the way, I think our generation is very colorblind, but we get caught up in identity politics. Like we just get like forced into this racist crap. But our generation really isn't racist. I think it's the later, like you start getting older, that's when it starts getting real.
I agree. Racism. Absolutely.
Now back to my story though. This person just recently in the last couple of years has been like all about like, you don't know what it's like to be black. Oh, when I see a cop, it's so scary. Oh, Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, I grew up with you. Your parents had a 3-story house with 2 cars.
Probably never been arrested.
Never been arrested before.
Never been harassed.
No, that's a fact. This person's never been arrested before. Yeah. family's politicians, by the way.
Yep.
What are you doing? You look crazy. Maybe your friends think it's cool, but the rest of the world's looking at you like, dude, stop.
Yeah. What's crazy though is that so she's never been arrested, but she's all, oh, I'm black, the police hate me. Whereas me and you, two white guys, have been arrested multiple times, have been harassed by the cops. We've both
hate cops,
and we've actually been pulled over for, we've been racial profiled. We've been pulled over for being in a predominantly black neighborhood and being white.
To profile on our history. Oh, you're talking about being in those neighborhoods?
Yeah, we've gotten pulled over. Yeah, it happened to both of us.
I got pulled over in a black neighborhood because I was white.
Yep, and it happened to me, and I was just,
to tell you the truth, those cops that patrol that area, who know that area, what are you supposed to do? You see a kid in a car driving from Amherst, coming from over Kenmore area.
Yep.
He's just driving through this neighborhood that he's never been in. You've never seen him here before.
Yep. And I asked the cop, I'm like, why did you pull us over? They're like, this is a predominantly black neighborhood and you're a clean cut white kid. Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, and they're like, racial profiling is legal. Like, that's how we kind of like, if somebody doesn't look like they're supposed to be here, they're probably not supposed to be here. And so, like, that's what they don't get, is that racial profiling works both ways. We've both actually, had it happen to us. And it's just funny that, like, this whole white privilege.
I will say this, though. If a black person goes into a white neighborhood and just gets pulled over, just for that's kind of fucked up. It is, because think about it. That's like saying, like, you're literally saying, the cop in his head saying, this person's black, so he must be doing something wrong. Like, when you're white and you go into a black neighborhood, you just don't, like, you're out of place. But when you get to more white neighborhoods, it's not like there's no people out of place, because black people live in white neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not like there's a neighborhood that literally only white people live there. Maybe in the South somewhere. I don't know. I could be wrong. But, like, as soon as you enter as a black person, it's like, what is he doing here?
Yeah,
now as a cop though, people don't realize this either. People think they're just profiling by race, but a cop won't look at just the color of their skin. Cops won't look at the kind of car they're driving.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. Yep.
How their demeanor is. That's what a cop is really looking at.
Yep.
A good cop. They're not just looking at, he just pulled me over because I'm black. That might not be the truth. They might have pulled you over for something else. You might,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might just look. You might look the part that they're. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If you're a black person and you're driving into Kenmore and you have a nice vehicle and you're not banging super loud music and your windows aren't tinted, you're not going to get pulled over. It's the cars that are, like you said, like just windows tinted, crappy looking car, like just blaring music, just acting like a fool.
They see the cop, they turn around or something like that.
Yeah,
just certain stuff that's not racial. It's not racial.
Exactly. They're doing their job.
Yeah.
They're doing their job, and there's bad cops, of course, but the majority of them are just trying to do their job and do it properly. And if something looks out of place, whether it's in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood, they're going to kind of investigate. That's what they're there for. So, but it's just funny. I didn't even get into it. Just the fact that, like, this whole victim culture, like, now all of a sudden, whoever's the biggest victim is, like, wins.
Right.
Like, I'm black, I'm gay, I'm whatever, like, just stacking victims on top of each other.
The shows now, all these, like, shows that are primetime shows, like, like the Law and Order type shows, the plots, all the plots of all these shows now are all the same. There's a victim who's a trans black person who's, whatever, I don't know. Like, just think of some sort of mentally disabled, or they lost their leg or something like that. And they're being oppressed by the evil Aryan, white blonde hair with blue eyes. And it's like, what? Why does every single plot have to be like that? Or even in Hollywood, all these movies that are coming out, all these shows are like, they always have like a scene where they go down in the South into like Alabama and they walk into that old bar. There's all a bunch of white people. What are you doing around here, boy? Your content welcome around here. Get out of the pool, boy. Your content welcome in the pool. It's like, that doesn't exist. Yeah. Nowhere in America is that happening right now. Nowhere. Period.
It truly is insane. Like, there's a lot of shows that me and my wife watch, and I used to like them, but I've seen them morph over the years, and they all have this underlying, like, trying to get their narrative across.
Brainwashing. They're trying to get people think in terms of
Exactly.
race. As soon as you start thinking in terms of race, you become divided, and that's it. You're
Exactly.
easily conquered. All
And
you
like,
got to
so-
do is say something to trigger your like ideology, which is so easy. Just look, a racist thing happened here. Oh no, let's go out. Yeah, like just get everybody riled up. You know what I'm saying? Or
and
the
the scary thing is that people don't see it. So like I'll be watching a show and sure enough, here comes this underlying narrative they're trying to push on you and brainwash you with. And I'll just literally shake my head because I recognize it immediately. And I'll just shake my head. And then my wife's just like, she just looks at me and I'm just like, this is like, these shows are getting hard to watch. These shows that I liked and I've watched seasons of are almost unwatchable now.
yeah.
And like another thing is you see
like,
all these shows with these masks and it's about COVID and it's like, look, entertainment, we want to escape reality with these shows. And now you're just
trying to
pounding us with
around with all this nonsense, dude.
and you're just pounding us with the life we're already living. We're already living with masks and all this nonsense. And then every single show you turn on now, it's like the same thing. Exactly. It's conditioning.
And now you got like celebrities coming out and like being like, oh, people that don't wear masks are just idiots, fools, and or people that don't want to like people. Most people are gonna wear the mask. They just don't want to. It's just how they feel. Like they can't help it. I don't want to wear the mask. Sorry that I feel that way.
This is what I don't understand.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do to change my mind. I don't like the mask. I get why you want to do it, but I just don't like it.
This is what I don't understand. So the people that like will say something to someone who's not wearing a mask, right? Like, why aren't you wearing a mask? You're killing people, right? If the masks work, then your mask should be protecting you. What does it matter if I wear a mask or not? If masks work, then you're all good. You're protected.
The argument is that even with the mask on, you can get it. It's that wearing the mask, you can't give it out. That it's more about everyone wore a mask that you can't give it out.
And I understand that too.
So they're saying
if that's the case,
if one person doesn't wear I'm just giving you their argument and playing devil's advocate. If one person doesn't wear a mask, the whole thing falls apart and it's pointless because that one person could still spread it to everybody that is wearing a mask because the people wearing a mask might itch their nose or something like that, or the mask doesn't really work for helping. It's for pushing out. That's the argument.
Okay, so I understand the argument, but it's a nonsense for many, many reasons. But regardless, so if that's the case, and you're worried about somebody spreading it, then sick people should wear a mask. Why are healthy people wearing a mask? Quarantining is also for sick people. So quarantine the sick people. You don't lock down and quarantine healthy people. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I don't know.
It's just weird.
I don't know.
It's just strange.
I just want it to end, dude. I can't stand it, dude. I can't stand how people are okay with it.
Yeah, and
you're
then like
okay with wearing a mask your whole life, everywhere you go, when you leave the house, even in your own fucking house, when you have people over, you gotta wear a fucking mask. Sorry, it bothers me that much.
I mean, so I don't wear a mask in my house. I very, very rarely wear a mask. The only time I wear a mask is if I have to go somewhere that we need to go. Like me and my wife, she's pregnant. If we got to go to a doctor's appointment, for the OBGYN or something, then of course I have to wear a mask or I can't go.
They got people thinking that everybody has COVID. Like literally people who I know, well-educated people, literally their mindset is everybody has COVID. If you're not wearing a mask, you're going to give everybody COVID. Everyone's going to die. They literally think everybody is just out killing people. That's what they think, dude.
They're trying to literally just
not even exaggerating. That's
control everybody. They're trying to control everyone with fear. And first of all, that's no way to live. If you live your whole life in fear, you're not really living.
It's not that hard to make a statistic look worse than it is.
Absolutely.
Like all those deaths that are from COVID, I mean, a lot of them are just someone got COVID and they died of COVID. I'm sure that's very true. But you got to remember, even just like a percentage of them are people that were died of something else that had COVID and are getting, and we already know that this has already been established. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is established fact that if you had COVID at the time of your death, you are part of the statistics, part of the hundreds of thousands of people that got a COVID death.
Yeah.
Like, that alone makes me want to shake people and be like, look at that. Like, do you not understand these numbers are completely padded?
Yep. And not only are the numbers padded, but early on, they weren't even using real numbers. They were using models and projections, which ended up being way wrong.
2.2 million people are going to die of COVID in the United States.
Exactly. And it's like not even close to that. And a lot of these models and these projections, like that one with the 2 million, do you know that was like a I don't know, like a seventh grader that made that projection?
What they do. Listen, I'll give you, okay. So you got the UN, that girl from Sweden, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, Greta.
She gets up and does a little speech. It's a little kid. By the way, she wasn't even a little kid. She was in high school. She just looks like a little kid. That's why she was perfect. That's why they picked her. You get on stage. You look like a 4-year-old. Get on stage. She was 16 at the time. She's almost 18 right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, she looks so much
younger. She's almost
younger.
Legal enough to date us.
Yep, and she's so much younger than she looks.
Child. You're making fun of a child. You're such an idiot. Like, stop it. Now, that's one example of that's their virtue signal. That's what they do. They want to get their point across about something. They make you feel bad. They did, like you said, the 7-year-old came up with the model on how to stop COVID. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. We're all so stupid. We should pay attention to little kids. And then the other day, by the way, the Democrat policy ideology, this Marxist left-wing ideology of the world, is literally a 4-year-old's. Like, if you ask a 4-year-old, how should we run the world? They'll say, everybody should just share equally, and we should all have the same amount of money. We should all have the same house. We should all be able to have the same opportunity. That's like a kid. A little kid doesn't understand how people earn things and people don't. People are slackers. They don't understand that type of. They think everybody's just, let's all be fair. Like, that's their mindset.
Yep.
Yeah, just the other day, when Trump's getting impeached for the second time in the House, I forgot who it was. One of the congresswomen got up. I love watching that stuff on C-SPAN. I eat it up, dude. I'm watching C-SPAN all the time. I just love it.
It's actually pretty funny.
Really, really entertaining. But anyway, This lady gets up there, and you know what she says? She said, I got an email, and it broke my heart. And I'm like, wait till I hear this. Let's hear it. She goes, oh, the email was from an 11-year-old that said that we must remove this president before we're all gonna die, or something along those lines. Like the little kid gave an email about impeaching Donald Trump. So therefore we should all cry and tear, and we should impeach the president now because this 11-year-old girl wants us to do it.
It's insane.
That's not virtue signaling. What is, dude? Like, what?
Exactly. There was it's like we're supposed to, like, cherish and love children and take care of them. We're not supposed to listen to them. They have no real life experience.
Be teaching them stuff.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we're not saying that we hate children. We're saying that we love children. We want to protect them. We want to cherish them. We want to raise them, right. But we don't want to listen to them when they have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly. You're supposed to teach them.
Yeah, exactly. We're supposed to teach them.
We tell them how the world is, and they are supposed to learn from us.
And that's
if it's turning into the other way around, we're doomed.
Well, and that's, if you look at the core of like Marxist ideology, it's like the young is, the future, and the old are just disposable.
Right.
And that's literally how it is. That's exactly what it's like. So I didn't plan on bringing this up, but I don't know if you just saw recently the New York Post and a bunch of other news outlets reported that 23 people in Norway died within 3 days of receiving the Pfizer vaccine. Did you see that yet?
I heard about that.
Yeah, New York Post, Bloomberg. I mean, it's not like it's just some random small reporting site.
It sketches me out that it happened over there, not over here. Like, we have Pfizer vaccines happening, trials right now.
Yep.
In the thousands, and it's not happening here. A lot of people, I don't think everything's a global conspiracy, but I do know that the UN and the EU constantly loves to undermine us and make us look bad and try to get us, like, try to one up us in the global market. If the Pfizer vaccine fails, they have a chance to put out a vaccine that's better, and they can get rich. So it benefits them to say, look, these people died of a vaccine.
Yeah, to an extent. I don't know if you know this, though, but Pfizer didn't develop the vaccine on their own. They worked with biotech, which is a German company.
Right.
So that kind of like makes me think, like, would Germany really do that to themselves?
No.
But you never know. Like, it is kind of weird. And this is another thing, though. We know that
Pfizer. It's still Pfizer, though. It's
exactly. They're the name.
Corporate people in America company that are going to benefit from this vaccine.
Yeah, you're right. No, the Pfizer name's the name you see. You don't ever see the biotech, even though they worked on it as well. Right. But it's just weird that, like, We also know, though.
No, but think about it. This is what I'm getting at. That German company can come up with a new vaccine now. They have
under a different one of their names.
They worked on it. They know how to do it now. They could shut down Pfizer and make a new one, and now they control. Now they got the market. They got the monopoly.
Yeah, and they could absolutely do that.
So like it sounds like a global conspiracy. It's so complicated. Why are you thinking that? It's really not.
It's a possibility. Or if let's look at this the other way. We know that our media is not honest with us. We know that, like in New York with Cuomo, we know that he botched the whole nursing home thing, and we know that they hid the numbers of how many elderly actually died in the nursing homes. So maybe they're just not reporting these vaccine deaths yet, or maybe they're just trying to hide them completely. Think about that. We still don't know the real number. Like they were reporting on the news, like how many elderly died in nursing homes. And then all of a sudden it hit about 6,000. They just stopped. Now they're looking into it. They think it's like 20,000.
Yeah. So what happened in New York was just absolutely a mess. I can't believe Cuomo had the audacity to write a book about how great he did during COVID.
I know.
Wow. And by the way, where'd you have the time to write this book when this pandemic was going on?
Yeah. And you literally had all the power. You had executive authority in New York. You wrote all these laws and all this stuff. When did you have time to write a book? Like, and then the national media propped him up like New York did such a great job and he did such a great job. When if you look at the numbers,
Florida did so horrible, and Florida had the least, like New York had the most deaths. Florida had the least amount of deaths.
If you look at the numbers, New York and California by far had the strictest lockdowns. They have the worst COVID numbers. But you wouldn't know that if you just listen to the mainstream media.
People are leaving California and moving to Arizona in droves right now.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. And that's a problem for California. Like they don't realize, like, and it's not just like it is everyday people, but there's also very important people, wealthy people that California was making a lot of money off taxing that are gone now too. Like Ben Shapiro, he moved out of California. Joe Rogan moved out of California. Like they're all moving out and they're moving to Texas and Tennessee. And, you know, like they're just sick of it, you know, like the strict lockdowns and like all the government overreach and all this, you know, like totalitarian, like, you know, just like pretty much communist states of New York and California. And they're just like, why am I here anymore? Like, what's the point? Like, yeah, my family might be here. I might have grew up here, but it's just getting so ridiculous. And not only are they like infringing on my day-to-day life, but then they want to take more of my money than another state that I can move to. I could go somewhere and, you know, and buy a house for a third of the price, a quarter of the price. My taxes will be a tenth of the price, and I can do as I please. I can, you know, live free. Isn't that what America was founded for?
Go to Florida. Everything's cheaper in Florida. Taxes are way lower in Florida. Houses are cheaper in Florida. And it's nice. The weather's nice.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Absolutely.
What am I doing? And I'm here in New York still too. So who am I to, you know what I'm saying? But it's true.
Yeah. But you think about it, at least California has really nice weather. New York, it's like, no, you have shitty weather, you know, half the year. So it's like, what are we and you still doing here?
People love the big city life in New York City. So people move to New York and move to Manhattan. They love that life. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Life. I love
maybe when I was younger and stuff.
When I'm older and more, you know, when I get to that point, eventually I want to move out to like a country somewhere.
Yep.
To look up at the stars every night and see all the constellations and not be like fogged from the city lights. And I can't do that. That's like, to me, I don't know, man. That's just not.
Absolutely. No, I've always thought like, I'm definitely like when I get established and whatever, whether it's retirement or something, opportunity arises, I definitely want to get out of New York because it's just, I don't know, you know, whether it's Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, like, you know, just there's a lot of other places to go where you can be left alone and do as you please. And that's how all of America used to be. But it's getting kind of crazy now. It's like, when is this madness going to end? Now people, did you see this? People are wearing 2 masks. Like, it's like a cool thing now. Like when people, remember kids used to wear 2 popped collars?
Yeah.
Now it's people wearing multiple masks is like, look at me, I'm cool. Like even Biden had 2 masks on the other day. I don't know if you saw that. Like talk about pandering, like, you know, yeah, masks are great. 1 mask wasn't good enough. I put on 2.
Why? What is that? What are you doing now? 2 masks? Really?
Wait till somebody starts putting on 2 or 3 masks and they pass out because they can't breathe. Wait till that happens.
Dude, I wear a mask for 5 minutes. And I'm like, dude, I got to
Exactly.
at least put my nose out for a second so I could breathe the fresh air. Like, I don't get it, dude.
You put one mask on, it's hard to breathe, let alone 2 or 3.
Man, why people are so like want these masks so bad. Like,
I know, and it's scary. It's because
they should make a condition now. This should be a condition, like in the medical field. The people who get so obsessed over people wearing masks, you see them in like the supermarkets yelling at other people, "Put your mask on! You're gonna kill somebody! Put it on right now!"
You know how like starting like 2016 and going to even present day, like this whole Trump derangement syndrome came out. Well, now there's mask derangement syndrome, and you see this. You see people like attacking people because they're not wearing a mask, and sometimes it's like outside. It's like they're by themselves or with their family who they already live with, and they don't have masks on, but they're literally out in the fresh air and nobody's around them. And like people literally, the one person got maced when they were with their family because they didn't have a mask on. It's like that is crazy. And that does show you how powerful Hollywood and the mainstream media and all these people parroting this mask thing. It's like you see how effective it is. Doesn't make any sense to me and you maybe, but people eat this stuff up. They're told that masks are the only way and all this stuff, and then they're literally going around attacking people who aren't wearing masks.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
It
is.
It's pretty crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, man. That was pretty. I think we're getting close to like an hour.
Yeah, I didn't look at the time. I don't know if Zoom shows it.
Yeah, it's almost getting close to 4:30. So you know,
if you don't got anything else to talk about, we can cut it out.
5:30. I meant to say, yeah.
We can cut it out there.
Yeah.
You want to finish it off?
Yeah, dude.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. Please share this video, like this video. If you haven't subscribed or already subscribed to our channel, go Bills. God bless America. God bless you.
Go Bills.